All right, well, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin, your empowerment coach, empowering you to live better, love better, and be better. And I am joined again by my amazing wife, Tarsha.
I'm here.
And we, as part of that whole live, love, be better, one of the things we do is we review one of our favorite shows, which is Ready to Love. So definitely make sure, do us a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It doesn't cost you anything, but it means everything to us. So definitely make sure you go ahead and do that. And then let us know in the comments your thoughts on tonight's episode, because there was some stuff that happened.
Ooh,
in this episode. And I think that was the name of it, was
yes.
the tea? Yeah. So it was a lot of stuff going on. So who do you want to start with first?
Well, let's go ahead and dig into Denise and Rashid. So this is the little common thread going on with them.
Yes.
You know, concerning about her calling him a narcissist. And she's saying, I didn't exactly say that, you know.
But she did. I mean, if you say this person has the traits
right.
of a narcissist,
right.
you're basically calling them a narcissist. So, but yeah, they had at least had a good conversation.
They had a good conversation. She apologized on behalf of Ariana.
That was the other thing. She apologized.
I was like, I love this.
How do you apologize on behalf of somebody else?
I want to apologize on behalf of her being young. She basically, again, called her young. And was like, you know, I've been long enough. I seen traits of how people, you know, and this is how I see traits of people.
She don't know everything I know, so.
I was like, you only been on the earth 8 years longer than her, but yet, you know, she's met so many different people.
Yeah.
Instead of just coming out, I apologize the way I positioned my response based off of my experience would have been the best thing to do. Instead of, again, you're focusing on what some...
She deflected again.
She
deflected again. She's basically like, look, yeah, I said that, but let me apologize for this person.
I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, that one kind of threw me.
I was like, this is good.
But I think one of the things that kind of was one of the key central pieces, because there was a couple of things as far as tea being spilled, right? If you remember the last episode, go back and watch the recap we did on the last episode. But there was the whole Brian, Alicia, Alex situation.
Right.
And then Shay was there for comedic effect, I guess, right?
Shay should have been looking for love, but Shay was
looking for a bottle.
Shay was looking for gossip.
She was looking for a bottle.
And she was finding everything but love.
Let us know if you think, because I think Shay was hitting that Henny a little too hard. I think Shay was consistently.
Shay looked like she was having herself a good time. She was a little lit.
She was enjoying the resort a little too much.
Lit.
But there was the whole thing of Brian went on a date with Alicia.
Right. And
was supposed
you could tell
to come back.
He was holding back. He a little guarded. You know, you're looking at the signs. But he's like, okay, I'm going to go on a date. But he was asked. You can tell where a man is like really, he's contemplating. He's like, okay, so are your kids good? Do you got good kids? You know, what do you expect out of a man?
Right.
You know, he was really asking her really good questions. I think anyone should be on this process when you're talking about dating someone with children, you know. But then where he messed up, and men have to be accountable, is like, if you're really not feeling them, when Alicia's like, hey, come back, we cuddle, we could watch some movies. And he was like, oh yeah, let me go take a shower, come back. If you ain't feeling, just say, you know what, I appreciate the day.
It's been a great night.
I'm going to leave it here.
Let's connect at breakfast or something, right?
I'm going to leave it on a high note.
Right. But he immediately, but also he's been feeling Alex, right?
Oh, he's been
fiending over Alex, right?
He's smitten.
It kind of makes sense that he had a date, but he's like, you know what, I want to end the night. Because it's a little different dynamics right now because in previous seasons, they could call or text or whoever that they really were feeling, be like, hey, I want to hear your voice before I go to bed.
Right.
In this situation, they don't have that dynamic. Now it's, I can go to their room and say, hey, I just want to say, hey, good night, right?
Yeah.
So that was the whole thing. But then Shay makes the statement, I was in Alicia's room waiting, and we heard,
no, you were out in the hallway. hearing that everybody else got going on.
And then you ran into Alicia's room. Well, no, Elmer Fudd stepped into Alicia's room and then brought Alicia out to see that. So that was the whole thing there with them. And so Brian even said he didn't ghost her.
Oh yeah, because like Chris was like, dude, you need to fix this quick. So he was able to recognize like, this spreads like wildfire. You need to go fix it now. And he was trying to explain to him like, why did you ghost her? And he was like, well, I didn't ghost her. What did he say?
I zombied her.
He said I zombied because I was alive. I was like, whatever, dude. I was like, whatever.
Listen, whatever you call it, it was shady. It was wrong.
It was.
He could have handled it better.
He could have handled it better.
He definitely could have handled it better.
And he didn't. He didn't.
All right. Then there was the other situation. Oh
my gosh, with Joy,
with Jay, Joy,
Simone,
Winter, and Simone. Yes.
I'm like, okay, it's a square. There's no triangle.
It's a triangle centered around Jay. Really, it's a triangle, right? Because Jay he has a connection. Looks like with all three of them.
Well, his strongest
is
Joy.
Yeah.
But then Winter was around, but Simone seemed to be like, okay, piquing his interest.
Right.
Until
she killed that.
She was like jumping in on Joy and him and just putting them on blast. And then you think it's over, but she never goes to Winter.
Right.
So Simone don't circle around the Winter to figure out.
And the way she puts it about Winter is she making it like Winter just like open for business.
Right. Right.
He was without his shirt on.
Right. They just came from
the pool and he
I'm
was
like, well,
naked.
that makes sense.
Right.
I mean, why would you be fully clothed? I mean, going to the pool. But, when Joy is talking to Winter about it, they're all in this circle. So we got Shay, we got Alicia, we got Anthony, we got Chris. And Joy was like, oh, since she talking about your situation, Alicia, let me tell you what happened when I was sitting with Jay. This is Joy. And telling Winter, like, hey, Winter, by the way, you better check your girl. Yeah. Because she just spilled that Jay was up in her room. She's like, what? Oh my God. We talked for like 3 minutes, No big deal, but I was handling my business as a woman.
Right.
And so they were like, so at that point, they were like, you know what? We're talking about people that we have not addressed.
Right.
And it's important that we address those people, which again seems a little bit more mature than The Bachelor. Just saying, where here are women saying, I'm going to be mature about the situation and talk to the person and let's get it squashed.
Right.
And let's figure out what we need to do.
Right.
So what happens? They go to Simone, pull her to the side.
And Simone acknowledges that she was being a little shady. She basically was like, I was being a little shady. I was looking at how he is with you, Joy, and how he is with you, Winter.
Right.
And I wasn't getting that. So she was, and she recognized that even that she still has some work to do on herself, right?
Right.
So shouts out to Simone for recognizing that. And I think that it's something that may hurt her with Jay. Right. I don't know if they'll recover, but at least she's taking the mature route.
Right. And even when Winter talks to Jay about what happens, Winter says, okay, she's at this point in her life. I feel for her a little bit of what she did. So none of the women are still trying to put anyone down,
right? But
they're really trying to focus on them finding love,
right?
So I think Simone may have been a little hard on herself. It's just like, look, I want to learn from my mistakes. It's a trigger. I'm used to being the center of the attention. I'm used to being the one, where I
just thought about this. It's an insecurity issue.
Right.
It's a huge insecurity issue because she kind of makes the statement, I look at Joy and I look at Winter and they're nice and soft and feminine and da-da-da. She makes these statements. And so then that gets me thinking that some of her persona may be still a wall and a shell that is still kind of covering up. So because she admittedly had daddy issues.
Right.
She allowed herself to be in situations that weren't the best for her.
I hear that, but for women, women walk in comparing themselves to other women.
Okay.
And so it's always that feeling like, oh wow, they know how to put that suit together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love their makeup. You know, women can always see a lot in another woman,
Yeah.
but can't see it in themselves. So there's always a base underline of insecurity, because when you walk into a group of women, you see all these beautiful things about them, but you don't even consider that for yourself. So there's always just that base underline that I think women has to work through.
Gotcha.
And then when you add on everything to that,
That you got 15 other women there, it
heightens.
Right.
It heightens it.
I hear you. I hear you. A couple other things to point out that we found funny was Alicia and Brian did have a little conversation after like the whole gossip and tea got spilled all over the table. It was just like all over the place, right? So it was interesting because Alicia pulled Alex aside to talk to her and kind of give her the scoop, and she's like, "Oh, this was fugazi, this was da da da." And then she was like, "All right, Alex, go get Brian for me and tell him I want to talk to him."
I was like, oh, okay. She was like, yeah, girl, I'm going to go ahead and take care of this for you. I was just like, woo. You know, again, she's very assertive.
Very.
You know, she came in not open-minded about getting to know all the men.
She got locked on to one.
She got locked on to one. And she said that's her type. So I'm like, this is an opportunity to go outside of your type again, where guess what? You don't have to stay feeling them. If it turns out that they don't have anything you offer, you can go to the next person.
Right.
And I think
it's okay.
And it's okay. And again, I think women get just locked in their head to this one type of person when they're not being open. It's like when you're at that place where men are coming to you and you're like, no, no, no. And I'm like, you can be missing out on great guys.
Yeah.
So
let us know what you thought of that whole interaction, because we thought it was comical. I also thought that when Alicia told Brian, "I just want you to know I'm not pursuing you," okay, that was a little obvious because he really wasn't pursuing you now. So you just putting him on notice that you're not pursuing him. Got it. And then there was, at least we see Shay on a date, or at least having interaction
with a man.
With Rashid.
With Rashid, yes.
It was cringeworthy for me.
She was drunk. I feel like she was drunk. I'm sorry. She looked drunk. If she wasn't drunk, I would rather her been drunk. If she wasn't drunk. Because she was just like you're being that person at the bar where you're just being more annoying.
Right.
And not conversational. Because he was really trying to hold a conversation with her. And she was cutting him off. She was just, it was overbearing.
Right.
And even like Chris was like, okay, you're just throwing all yourself.
Right.
You know.
She was 18, 19-year-old. I'm just got, figured out alcohol at the bar type of. That's kind of what it reminds me of, like my college days of when you had somebody that was just had a little too much to drink and they just had diarrhea in the mouth and just said everything that came to mind. Because that's really what happened there. It was just like, okay, so now I understand why we don't really see Shay going on dates. And so, not to give anything away, but Shay did not make it through the entire episode.
Not giving away, but
she didn't make it through the episode. I predicted that one.
Yeah, you did predict.
I did predict that one. So give me some producer credits. Will Packer, hit me up. Let me know, because I can write some of that stuff, right? But Rashid and Shay interacting was one thing, and then there was a couple that, or at least an interaction that we saw that was a little different, a little surprising, with Edwin and Naya.
Okay, so they had a conversation, which I just thought was like a morning conversation. But what we didn't talk about when we were watching it was that, and I don't know. She shares with Edwin about her miscarriages. But we haven't seen any scenes if she's shared that with Chris. So I'm kind of wondering, like, does Chris know about the miscarriages?
I think so, because I think she wasn't as blatant with it as she was with Edwin, but I think in one of the previous episodes she kind of hinted around at it.
Okay.
That
but that's not telling it.
Right, but and again, editing, what have you, I think that they may have had some of that conversation.
I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't know. I feel like that would have been something that came out, since that's a part of her beginning story, that would have been shared with Chris. And that would be, to me, that's being vulnerable and showing types of intimacy when you're letting up about having miscarriages, losing loved ones.
Right.
Some of those things you don't necessarily talk to someone at the very beginning. So I found that very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other person that did not make it through the night was Alicia.
Yes, Alicia didn't make it. Denise did.
Denise made it.
We had a comment. Someone put a great comment.
Yes. I think it was Houston's Finest. Shout out to Houston's Finest.
Yes.
Thanks for commenting.
Yes.
Again, let us know your thoughts in the comments there as you're hitting that subscribe button, right?
Yes, because, she was saying that Denise is going to stay on for dramatic effect. But, like I was telling you, there's a couple guys. Anthony is feeling Denise. I think Califani is really got on like top. That's his first choice.
But it was, and he admitted it was a little off-putting when she got really like aggressive and really like really domineering or really attached to him. Really like, you're mine and I'm gonna fight for you.
Right, because it was early on.
Right.
Like he's really trying to say, okay, there's an array of people here. And we should be open to, find out what's out there.
Yeah.
I really like you, but at the same time, it's a little early.
Right.
Right.
It's early in the game still. So yeah, so Alicia and Shay are gone home. And then we got kind of the after effects of that, right? And so then we see Denise on a date with Anthony.
Yeah, and they're really having a good time.
And I'll be honest, Denise was not one of my favorites. I've always been like, Denise, I think she needs to get healed, what have you. But I liked her interaction with Anthony from the aspect that she seemed to be really opening up a little more.
I think she seems to take constructive criticism well.
She took it better than I think anybody was expecting, because even Califani was like...
Yeah, I thought I was going to get more... But it was just like, she's like, okay, I want to settle down. I think it's also about settling down. When you're in a new place, you're trying to figure out what your role is, and you're trying to get what's going on. So I think she kind of just settled down, saying like, look, I'm really ready for love. And if you're going to be open and look at other places, I can do the same thing. And that would keep your mind off when you're not with that person, but enjoying other people's company.
Yep. Absolutely. And then we just got a teaser for the next week. Yes. So it looks like Friends are going to be showing up next week.
Yes.
Which
the
always
girlfriends
makes for interesting interactions. So let us know if you watch the trailer. In fact, watch the trailer for next week's episode.
Yeah, just watch it all the way through.
Yeah, watch it all the way through. Let us know your predictions. Let us know your thoughts, what you think. Because there's some nuggets in that trailer that we were like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, we were like, oh, it's about to be on.
It's about to get interesting. All right. I think that's it for this one, right?
Yeah.
All right. But again, we appreciate you stopping by for this one. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Check out our other videos that we are doing on Put a Ring on It and the relationship tips that we are a little tongue-tied there. It's okay. But the relationship tips that we are bringing from the Put a Ring on It TV show as well. All right. That's all we've got. Love you guys. We'll see you next time. Be blessed. Have a good one.
All right.